Welcome. How nice of you to stop by for another visit. I've been expecting you. Here, have a seat right next to me. I have a story to tell you. The Doll Thief. In the sleepy town of Willow Creek, whispers about the old Harrington mansion had faded into the background of everyday life. But one relic from the mansion's dark past refused to be forgotten. A porcelain doll with eyes as cold and blue as a winter's dawn, named Lydia. Rumor had it that Lydia wasn't just a doll, but the vessel of a vengeful spirit, the soul of a young girl who died mysteriously in the mansion over a century ago. The doll sat in a dusty corner of the town's antique shop, a place where curious collectors and thrill seekers often came to search for the strange and unusual. Lydia was encased in glass, a layer of grime dulling her once pristine features, yet her eyes seemed to follow anyone who dared to approach. One night, after the shop had closed, a thief named Mason broke in, his eyes glinting with greed. He had heard about the doll and the fortune it could fetch from the right buyer. To him, Lydia was just another piece of valuable junk, no different from the other trinkets he had stolen over the years. As Mason pried open the glass case, a cold breeze swept through the shop, causing the old wooden floors to creak. He hesitated for a moment, but greed pushed him forward. He snatched the doll and stuffed it into his worn leather satchel, oblivious to the sudden chill that now hung in the air. That night, as Mason returned to his dingy apartment, strange things began to happen. The temperature dropped unnaturally, his breath visible in the cold as he fumbled with his keys. The moment he stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind him, though no wind blew. He shrugged it off, chalking it up to fatigue, and placed the satchel on his table. As he prepared for bed, the sound of faint, childish laughter echoed through the apartment. Mason froze, the hair on the back of his neck standing on end. He turned slowly, his eyes scanning the shadows, but he saw nothing except the satchel, now slightly open, the doll's pale face peeking out. The laughter grew louder, more malicious. Mason's heart pounded in his chest as he backed away from the table. His hands trembled as he reached for the door, but it wouldn't budge, as if some invisible force held it shut. "Who's there?" he demanded, his voice cracking. The room grew darker, the only light coming in from Lydia's eyes, which now glowed a sinister, unnatural blue. The doll began to move, its head turning slowly toward him, its porcelain lips curling into a twisted smile. "You took something that wasn't yours," a voice hissed, though the doll's mouth didn't move. It was the voice of a child, but warped, dripping with malice. Mason stumbled back, his legs giving way beneath him. I'll return it. I didn't know," he pleaded, his voice trembling with fear. But it was too late. The doll's small, delicate hands reached out, and with them, the room seemed to close in around him. The walls groaned as if they were alive, the shadows stretching and twisting into horrific shapes. Mason's vision blurred, his mind overwhelmed by the suffocating darkness and the sinister giggles that filled the room. By morning, Mason was gone, The apartment was empty, save for the doll that sat innocently on the table, her expression serene, as if nothing had happened. The satchel, once filled with valuables, was now empty, lying discarded on the floor. Now, back in her glass case at the antique shop, Lydia's eyes were dull once more, waiting for the next fool who would dare to steal her away. And in the quiet town of Willow Creek, the story of the doll thief became just another whisper, one more dark tale to be forgotten in time, until Lydia's eyes glowed blue once again. The end. Thank you so much for stopping by. I did rather enjoy your company. I do hope you are able to sleep peacefully tonight, and that the shadows in your bedroom remain content without disturbing you. Until next time, do take care and do stop by again when you have time for another story.